Welcome everyone. We are the Samurai Reviews. We are your hosts.
Ching ching.
Ching ching. That's what we're gonna do.
New animation. Ching ching. Excellent sound effects.
Yes.
Perfect.
We are hosts. I'm Josh. We have Brett and Jonathan. This video is the IMDb portion of our video that we have separated from our spoilers. Make sure you watch our review video first before you come out and watch this IMDb review.
Well, come out at your own
video.
pace. Okay, it's your decision.
Yes, we're not forcing you. We have a pretty good, exciting video for you here today. Usually we just all together just randomly grab some IMDb reviewers and just make fun of them. But this time we all individually picked our own favorite IMDb review, and we're going to decide
Who's the king of stupid?
which one wins the
king of bad reviews.
The bad reviews.
But we're still gonna make fun of them, so don't worry.
Obviously.
Yeah, don't be like, oh, don't turn that dial on your laptop. That laptops have dials, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just try to mix things up for you guys. You've kind of noticed that we've been a little bit repetitive with these IMDb reviews, so we're doing something different. But anyways, this video is brought to you by Cuzzy Cam Production. Let's get into this. Let's have some fun. And who wants to start us off with their...
Me, Josh, look, me, get.
I don't see anybody.
Yeah, over here.
Bueller.
Oh.
Bueller.
Camera guy, you got something for us? We don't have a camera guy.
What's that, Jim? You can't say that on... Jonathan, go ahead.
So J. Smith gives us a 2 out of 10. Titled simply No.
Harsh.
With the
No.
periods.
Just no.
No to his review, or like he typed in 2 and he's like, no, not a 2.
Maybe.
No.
So there's also a warning for spoilers, but there really isn't any spoilers, so I don't really get that either. But anyway, he goes, wow, I seriously can't believe how terrible this was. I walked out. Now, we all know how we feel about...
Oh, so he was saying no, like...
Yeah.
He was starting to rate it, and he was like, oh, no, I shouldn't rate it.
Yeah, because
I
if you
haven't
walk
seen it.
out,
Yeah.
you haven't actually seen the movie. And so that's the biggest thing I had the problem with this guy, is he hasn't even really seen it. But if you keep going on, he's like, I never walked out of any other movie before, which I don't believe. Because
Usually if people type in, I walked out of it, they have like 3 other ones that they typed in, I walked out of it.
Yeah. But basically he goes on to say, does anyone know what's going on behind the script they're reading?
Yeah.
And does anyone know how to express emotions or love?
Actually, it's well...
It's the same script.
Yeah, it's the same script from 94.
What?
That's what's happening. So it's documented. It's been well documented since 1994. What's going on behind the script?
There was no compassion in this, no heart, no meaning, just empty, lifeless. Now we've
Did you
talked
say
about...
no compassion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not correct. I didn't mean passion.
No compassion.
I mean,
There's no
compassionate
passion.
moments
Yeah, I would say there's no passion instead of
yeah.
compassion.
I get what
So that's weird.
like. We were talking about, how we think that emotion.
It's
is
definitely
a little
not
less,
a 2.
but it's not terrible, and there definitely is emotion,
'Cause-
and there definitely is.
As you said, the voice acting is very good and does handle some of that lack of emotion in the face. So it's definitely not a 2.
It's saying there's no heart, which I disagree because it's the same story as before, which has
There's still
plenty of heart.
yeah.
There's meaning. It took maybe one meeting, I guess Rafiki with that one scene, with like, oh, it's in the past, but like there's still meaning of just moving on and kind of
there's definitely
moving forward,
story.
and it was more there. I felt like it was more life on screen because it was a realistic version of the animals than drawing. So I don't understand why they say it's lifeless, but I can see why they said it because there was no emotions. This whole paragraph wasn't even a spoiler.
No. Yeah,
No,
he
there's
didn't
no
name
spoilers
any
either.
character
Yeah.
in it. He didn't like name any plot point.
So I went in,
Spoiler, I didn't like it.
I went in to
You're
find
welcome.
all the other reviews this guy's put all of his time into,
Yes.
or gal, and there were none.
They were not.
So this was it. This was it. This was very short and
So
sweet.
he only reviewed the movie he didn't see.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
it was
That's
a
nice.
new user.
Yep,
That's
that was
good.
it.
This is the one movie he's walked out of ever, and he decided to review it.
Yep.
That makes sense. That's sound logic right there.
But yeah, so
Alright.
that's it for Jay, me.
Yours is pretty long.
It is long.
I haven't read it through all the way, but I've seen it. I've seen
Yeah.
the paragraphs.
I gotta say, so reading this, it is long, as you can see. Reading this, I do actually kind of appreciate the time and effort he puts into it. So I would like to give him a little compliment before totally pointing out how stupid he is. So you go through, and he gives it a 1 out of 10 from Christian Lefebvre, and says it's. I don't speak French, guys.
It's pronounced Lefebvre.
Lefebvre.
Now that we've offended and insulted all the French people,
Like and subscribe, French people.
moving on.
He says it's visually impressive, but otherwise stick to the original, which, just in the title does not shout 1 to me. So, I was definitely like, okay, I gotta see what he put in the spoiler, or his spoiler parts, because I don't see how this could be a 1. The worst possible rating you could give a movie. So he goes through it and he says, as I mentioned before, Disney's live-action adaptations of their classics animated movies have been disasters. Jungle Book was horrendous. Aladdin was ridiculous. Dumbo was worse. Dumbo was very bad.
Yeah.
Less said about the reworking of Pete's Dragon, the better. Says Beauty and the Beast is actually not too bad, which I agree. I think Aladdin was better than ridiculous, but those are other reviews you can watch. But basically, he's just saying, there are good adaptations, but this one was done terribly. He says there's so much to say, which he does back up by, lending us an entire research paper's worth of review. Oh, so he says, as far as the visuals go, it is seriously impressive. Still doesn't shout 1 to me. That's a compliment. That's an above a 5 statement right there. He says it does look so realistic, and praise goes to the digital artist responsible for the look of this movie. The vocal casting was all right, but no way as good as the original casting, which I disagree with.
1.
But also even if it's true, it's not a 1. And so he says, he misses Nathan Lane as Timon and Whoopi Goldberg as Shanzi. James Earl Jones is back. And it reminded him of the original, but that's kind of what he had as a problem with this movie. And so the rest of it is kind of just him pointing out that everything was the same, which I also have a particular bone to pick because, as you know, if you watch our review portion, if it's a remake, I give it -1. And that's it. Like, I will never mention that it's the same again. That doesn't have any bearing on what the message of the movie is, what the actors in the movie do, how well they perform, how well the CGI is, anything like that. Like, I take a 1 point off immediately, and then I go into the rest of the review, just for the sake of lacking originality. But this guy, because it was so close to the same, took off basically 9 points if he rated it as high as I did, or the original as high as I did, as a 9. And then he continued to say that the CGI was great, which was the different part of it.
Yeah.
And the acting was at least decent, which again was a different part of it. So it's weird that he docks 8 to 9 points just based off the fact that it was the same, and that's very unfair. Then at the end, he even says he repeats the visuals are seriously incredible. If you're a fan of the original and planning to see the new spin, you're gonna be disappointed. So he does say, like, wait for this to come out on TV or something. Don't waste your money at the cinema, which again, like, that's a negative, but that's not a 1 negative. A 1 is like, there's no need for you to watch this ever. Bury it, let it die. But he's saying, like, it's still worth seeing, at least on TV. And then he goes on to complain about The Little Mermaid, which I can only imagine what he's talking about. So that's kind of his point, and I was just like, okay, maybe he's reviewed, like, other Disney movies, perhaps. So I went into his account, and guys, we're in the midst of a professional, because he was an extra on the 80s TV show Bergerac. You remember that extra in the background in Bergerac where everyone was like, oh my god, that guy was so extra. He was so cool. That was him. That was this guy. And then, not only that, he was an extra in the 97 Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies and the historical drama film Gold from 2018. Basically an Oscar award winner that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that face. Look at that just creepy guy who has a crush on your stepmom face. He does have a good amount of reviews, and like I said before, it is kind of impressive, you know, how much time he puts into it. But I was thinking we look at Beauty and the Beast first. Has to be said, Disney's live adaptations of their classic animations have really worked. Jungle Book was horrendous. Well, because I have to take back everything that I said about his reviews, because he basically just repeats what he said at the beginning of Lion King about Pete's Dragon and Jungle Book. It's like the same exact startup. Like, that's stupid. Be a little original. You were just getting on Lion King for not being original, and now you're gonna not be original in your reviews. This is not the extra from Bergerac that I know and love. Yeah, the whole reason we're looking at this one is because it is the other remake, and he actually rates it a 7 out of 10 and says it's not a bad adaptation. So, like, what made this one a good adaptation versus Lion King? Especially because I thought Lion King was better than this one.
Right, and that's what we were trying to figure out.
Yeah,
and then we go in, and he says the exact same thing that he basically started off with the Lion King.
That's
so
true, yeah. Lion King's better than Beauty
I
and
had
the
to take
Beast.
back everything.
I like Beauty and the Beast too.
now you're
about
back down to 0
Yeah.
with your credit.
Yeah,
So
I actually tried to compliment you, and you just were like, oh, wait, no, I'm dumber than that. Hold on. Not only is he a famous actor, but he has the vocab of a god.
He knows all about the
Niggles.
niggles.
I feel like I'm not allowed to say it. So actually, he says that this one was good because it was the closest adaptation and extremely faithful to the award-winning 91 animated film. Is that not exactly why you said Lion King deserved a win?
yeah, the Lion King was the closest to like the old original one compared
Yeah,
to
yeah.
all of the other.
Definitely.
Remake
like, the shots
movie.
are a little different. The castle definitely looked different. But
The
so,
Beast didn't even look like a good Beast.
Beast was bad.
I
Beast
didn't
was
like
a
the
bad
CGI
Beast, yeah.
on that.
He looked like Voldemort.
Yeah,
Beast.
and then the "Be My Guest" song, like the animation during that whole thing was just trash. I
Yeah,
didn't like that.
I didn't either. Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good as Lion King, and he's praising it for the same things he hated on Lion King for. He says it's difficult to comment on the portrayal of the Beast because there's so much CGI, but that didn't stop him with Lion King.
The hypocrisy, man, of this guy.
Yeah.
I just like to state the hypocrisy of just most of the reviewers that I was looking at, where they said they wanted more in the Lion King, but then they're like, no, they did too much.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, which one is
It's
it?
in the same review. Yeah, like you got to be consistent. Like,
Gotta pick one.
They don't mention what they want
Yeah,
added
yeah.
or what to take away from it.
yeah.
You know?
So you don't really
And-
have a say. Like,
right.
if you don't have any ideas, why do you? I guess they're professionals, but I don't think that's fair if you're gonna professionally review them.
Yeah. Which I thought that was. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, the rest of this, he says, Gaston was they made Gaston's character a lot more dense with story, and they made him a little dark. They made him a little darker in this one. I actually didn't think they changed Gaston that much.
No.
Out of all the things they changed, I think he was one.
Out of all of the things that
left.
they changed,
And then on the other token, you can look at Lion King, and like they shored up Scar's backstory, and that was one of the things we talked about in our review. That was actually a pretty good job by them.
I'm
They
glad they did that.
explained kind of the in-betweens for Nala as well, and I mean that was pretty good. But again, you don't get any credit for that, but you get credit for this. Yeah, so I do have to say that it is a stunning movie, very well made with some excellent performances. Doesn't stray too far from the original that we know and love. Worth seeing for sure. You could literally copy and paste that into Lion King after all the things he said, and it would have made sense. It just wouldn't have made sense with the rating, which is kind of my point of looking at that review. Was like,
Yep.
I don't see why this is a 1 from what you're saying. Once did appreciate the time that you put into your review, but now you don't even have that. So yeah, go back to your extra acting. Maybe stay away from reviewing and take a less creepy picture. Like seriously, this is the weirdest looking. That just looks like.
As an extra, you would
look like a Catholic priest right there. And I feel like a choir boy.
As an extra, you would assume that he has some good headshots or something.
So yeah,
And
that's
he's
your
got
headshot.
He
Who
just got
hired
selfie.
you like that?
Right.
And be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, we're filming 100 yards within a playground, right? We can't hire him. Like that. Was the first thing I would have thought of.
Mine's pretty simple. It's it's straight to the point, but you just don't understand why. It's a 1 out of 10. By Glenn Cunningham. Cunningham, sorry. It's
Cunningham?
Yeah, it's Cunningham. It's called The Beyonce Show. And this movie is good, but it's hard to watch listening to all Elton John song being sung bad by Beyonce. Which, first of all,
What?
Beyonce does not sing bad.
She sings
So,
her own song.
Yeah.
And Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which I guess, but she
Not
sang like
by-
10 seconds of it.
Yeah, I mean,
And she
she's only in,
definitely
like,
does
the
not
last-
have a bad voice.
yeah. She appears in the last half of like the movie.
Yeah.
Because like the rest of it, they're like kids and everything, and that's what we had a problem with Childish Gambino when he became.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't
when-
have enough singing
yeah,
parts.
like
and I think they
it
did
was
that
the
well
older
with
part.
Beyonce.
Also, when she speaks as Nala, she is all you can hear. Very disappointing.
I mean, that's the idea when someone speaks, right?
That's just
You don't want like the voice actor to be like, "No, I can hear you. Can you like
wait,
step
no.
away from out of the booth?
Just
Keep
show
going." Like, I mean, I had a lot of things that I was upset with this movie, and that was not even on the radar.
This is the thing. It's just the title that says The Beyonce Show,
yeah.
which is totally wrong. It's the opposite.
If it was, I would have been more interested.
To be honest, I wish Beyonce was a little bit more part of the production of like the putting more
Yeah,
into
making
the
it more
music
realistic.
and
I would have
actually
loved
getting
if, like, her and Elton John would have kicked its ass.
right.
Like,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like I wanted her involved more, even with like Childish Gambino and that kind of stuff. What we were saying
Yeah.
with like his artistic skill and like music and all that, but we don't get that, and that was very disappointing.
Yeah.
And then so this whole title of the Beyonce Show is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Never disrespect the queen like that again. Never. She's the queen. She's the queen bee. Bow
That's what
down.
I'm saying. Like, it's only this one negative thing of Beyonce, I guess, being super
And
bad, and it's one.
Get this.
-9 for that.
They had
It's
Beyonce
okay,
play
yeah.
Nala, and they had her say words.
One. 1 out of 10.
Like, are you serious? Bad acting. She acted with her like voice. With the what?
1 out of 10. So I mean,
is.
that's just
Yeah, that is pretty bad. That's that. You
that's
get 1 out
the
of 10
only that's
something
their
for, like, 10
only
minutes of the
reasoning.
movie.
That's
Yeah.
their only reasoning to make it a 1 out of 10.
All right, yeah, that's
Well,
pretty dumb.
yeah.
Did he do any other reviews?
No, it was the first time user.
Oh,
Excellent. So he just wanted to hate on the queen.
Yeah, he just wanted. He's one
Rebel
of those
scum.
haters.
Let's vote on King of Stupid. Specifically, stupidity. I think this one was like dumb and like funny dumb,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's nearly as stupid as the
mine.
Beyonce guy. Yeah,
And my guy walked out like halfway through it, so that's really dumb.
So
but at least he
it's more ignorance than
Yeah.
stupidity.
He based it on half the movie. Your guy based it on 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So for that, I would give it to.
And he
the-
dared to talk about our queen. Attack him, YouTube! YouTube army, attack! So I gotta go with Guacoma Cunningham.
I picked the dumbest one.
Glenn Cunningham, please drop a comment to collect your reward of 2 of these. So yeah, congrats on being an idiot reviewer. Can't wait to see more from you. Really, the potential is there.
Oh,
So
we
keep
should-
doing your thing.
Perfect.